For sure. Well, it's great to meet you. You got such a wonderful lineage and history of writing and of coaching, and I'm looking forward to getting into it. So thank you for taking a minute out.
Yeah, thank you. No, thank you for having me on your show, Joe.
Yes, sir. So before we get into your life, I want to know 4 years ago, we were trying to figure out our way out of this pandemic, lasting ramifications. How did you make it out of that time period? How did you get through it? And how did it change the way that you do things now?
Well, Joe, I mean, thank you for the question. Huh? And actually, I was stuck in India during the pandemic. So I had some consulting activity in India, and and then the pandemic came in. All the airports were closed, international flights were closed. So I was stuck there for a few months actually. So so it was somewhat of a difficult situation psychologically, huh?
Yeah.
But what really helped me is that obviously my wife and children called every day, but also my brother and my sisters, they used to call me on a regular basis. The rationale was that they wanted to make sure that my psychic still was still in good shape. So that's what it was. But but that period also allowed me actually to do a number of things, to put my energy into writing. So that was a good thing. But I also discovered during that period that the human connection is really extremely important, huh? Because because I think it's really at the foundation of everything actually. Because I think it allows individual, it motivates people, and then you're beginning to really address what really matters. So that human connection is something that it just came as a reminder for me, that COVID area.
Certainly, that's the weird thing about it is we were so connected with technology, but we realized, ironically, that we needed that
Mm-hmm.
human connection. That was ultimately what we needed and realized after that time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, very much so, Joe. Yeah.
So let's get to the heart and soul of what you do on a daily basis here in 2024. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of grade schoolers. It's career day, and a third grader says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer them?
Well, I will tell them first of all that that I believe that small business owners, that could be what they have seen, grocery store and so on, what they're struggling with is really time, time and financial outcomes. But those grade schoolers may not understand financial outcome. But really, that those people they're looking to obviously make money. They want to leave a legacy for their family, maybe leave that job for the children, that business for the children, and so on. And they also want to have time to spend with loved ones. So what I do is to support them during that journey. So that's what I will tell the the grade schoolers.
So, what did you want to be in the third grade when you were a kid? What was your dream?
Well, actually, my dream, Joe, was I wanted first to become a botanist. Huh? So I was fascinated by nature. I used to spend so many hours in the woods, just observing nature, drawing trees, leaves. That's what I wanted to do. I used to have a collection of leaves, a collection of insects, and so on, growing things in my mother's kitchen. That's really what I wanted to do. But then over the years, things evolved. Then I began to enjoy mathematics. So at some point, I wanted to become a math teacher. Then I say, well, no, maybe that math teacher, maybe you may not make a good living and so on. Since I was good in math, physics, and so on, I said, engineering actually is appealing to me. I like building things, seeing those things. So that's how I moved into engineering. But actually, my father, Joe, wanted me to become a medical doctor. Number one, he hated paying the doctors each time he went for a visit. So it really was. They was saying, man, I mean, I hope one day you become a doctor. I mean, I just hate going to these people there and so on. But But anyway, things did not work out that way, and I did engineering. I loved it, and I was very good at it.
So, what were the seeds? Take me back to the beginnings of your life, where you were born and raised, and what were these foundational
Yes.
seeds that gave you this desire to be in business and engineering, and to have these skills that have ultimately led you to coach and help people find their destiny?
Yes, I was born in the in Congo, and I grew up in Congo and in Belgium. So that's really my trajectory. And then I did obviously in the Congo. What I've realized is that in primary school I was very good in arithmetic, problem solving, and so on. I remember actually one of the kids in my class, because they used to sit us in alphabetical order, and then this fellow always used to sit next to me. And the agreement he had with me is that if he can cheat and have a look on my homework or test, in exchange for that, he'll be giving me those marble balls. So I had a collection of all of that. So that's the time we really realized, hey, this is something actually I understand. I understand very well. And then I had this habit of just trying to build things, to disassemble things. That's what I was doing, and so on. But really, what inspired me is that there was this teacher who took some time off from the university, and then he came and started teaching high school and so on. And his major was engineering. So during the math class, he used to give examples how mathematics are being used in engineering. So that really caught me there. And then in Belgium, there was an entrance examination which I took. I passed, and then I realized, hey, first year, second year, I was doing great, and then that's how really I progressed. Now, professionally, actually, when I finished my PhD, I was a research fellow at Northwestern, and one of the jobs that I had there was to give a tour to many of those industry people coming to visit the university. And then there was one gentleman there who came, and then at the end of the tour, I asked him. I said, "Hey, will there be a job for somebody like me in your company?" He said, "Why not?" And then eventually interviewed and so on, and I got the job. So they first hired me as a scientist, actually. And then after a week or so, he called me in his office. He said, Mosongo would like to have you become a manager. So I was a bit taken aback, and then I told him that, hey, listen, I'm really not too sure if this is something I can do. But then I took on the job, and then with no coaching, with no mentor, that was no experience whatsoever as a manager. And then I began to learn along the way, and so on, and learning skills, and then enjoying doing that as well. So that's really how it is. But Joe, really, my story has been a story of transformation, and really finding my true calling. I spent 30 years in senior leadership with major brands in the manufacturing industry, chemicals, materials, plastics, inks, and so on. And that career was somewhat punctuated with entrepreneurship. So one venture, and then back to corporate, another venture, back to corporate, and eventually I decided that it was time for me to take a leap of faith and venture fully in the world of entrepreneurship. So that call came when one of the companies I worked for was sold to private equity investors. That's when I decided, hey, listen, let me take a leap of faith and move in there. So that's really what it is. And then my corporate career was extremely rewarding. It was a field with strategic decision making, operation, business development, R&D, mentoring young leaders, driving innovation, and then supporting many customers, many of whom were actually small business owners. But I felt that deep desire to create something on my own. So today I help small business owners to uncover revenue opportunities by multiple of six figure, freeing up their time and reignite their passion. This allowed them to enhance not only financial outcomes, but prioritize time with loved ones. And what I've seen is that that leads to renewed energy and purpose. So that's really what I do. And my methodology and strategy is built upon capabilities I developed over my years in corporate, but as well as an entrepreneur.
So, who's been an inspiration or a hero for you in your life?
Well, the inspiration for me in my life, certainly in adult life, is actually been Nelson Mandela. To tell you the truth, him not really as a political figure, but you have seen the movie Invictus. Huh? So when you look at that movie and you really look at it from the angle of the emotional intelligence, then you really get the measure of Mandela as a man. You know, the way he was navigating, which was a very difficult process. So he's one person actually. I wish I've met actually to tell you the truth. So that's just the way really he dealt with the situation, bringing that the full weight of intelligence, emotional intelligence, those relationship interaction and so on. I just thought, oh man, this is inspirational for many leaders for that matter. Huh?
Absolutely. So, if you can meet anybody alive on the planet right now that you find inspirational, spend a little time with them, who would that be? Who would you love to meet and talk to?
Well, the person I would like to meet and talk to will be Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just find he has this passion about what he believes, and he has the ability of explaining it in extremely simple terms. And I always say, man, this whenever I listen to that individual, I just it just resonate in my head. I always say, man, this fellow, if one day I could just have a coffee or tea with him, I would learn so much from him. So that will be that's a name that pop up in my head as you ask me the question.
So, as somebody that's kind of an expert on small businesses and helping business owners get to a better place, what
Mhm.
business model out there exists that you admire the most? I mean, we have these big ones like Apple and Amazon and all these others out there, but is there a business model that you respect and admire that's out there?
Well, I mean, I think many of them today they go through a traditional model, and I would say one thing that many of the major companies, whether it's Apple and some of those, they have been very effective at messaging. What I found is that many of the small business owners they tend to focus only on the purely marketing side of the business, but actually the key is on the messaging because you really want to tap into the conversation that is taking place in your prospect mind. And I think some of those companies out there, such as Apple and so on, they have done a great deal of job there because there is a great deal of emotion that is really involved there. Huh? In fact, when people are buying things, you have the rational side of the brain, but you also have the emotional side. But the emotional side actually plays a great deal of role because the individual at the end of the day they want to feel good about whatever decision they make. Should I really buy this headphone at $500? Yeah, why not? I feel good with my buy. Whereas another individual will say, that's too much money. So that emotional brain there is extremely important. That's what I'm saying. That messaging is really extremely important as opposed to just marketing.
So, of all of the clients that you've worked with, is there one that stands out that made you grow the most, that really, like, rises to the top for a very special reason?
Yes. There was one client that I could recall. She was she was struggling. We were working on time freedom, and she was really struggling with time because she said she had attention deficit disorder. So it was extremely difficult for her to manage her time. And I work with her in terms of I suggest to her that look at it in terms of time sequencing. So that break them into small block because she says she used to have this tendency. Once she's involved in something, she will start working on it. When she goes to the gym, she wants to spend 1 hour there or 2 hours, and she doesn't want to to stop and so on. So what eventually we began to do with her was to have time sequencing. So meaning that to block it. So this time period I will do gym. This time period I will do reading or whatever activity. And then what she told me is that how do you make the transition because she was having difficulty making the transition from one topic on another. For that, I remember years ago, I had a master coach who told us that when she asked us to remember that when we're in school, you're coming from one class, you're going to another class, and you reach that class and you're still remembering in your back of your mind what the other class was all about. So, so what she was saying to make the transition is that you need to clear the space. You clear the space and you need to declare that, hey, that class is finished or whatever activity is finished. Now I'm declaring that it's over. I am present. I'm ready to take on the other action. You need to declare it. When you do that, then the transition to the other task becomes easier. And then working with her, she did apply this, and I saw a tremendous improvement in productivity because initially she was not always able to complete some of the assignments and activities that we agreed to do for the week. But over time, she was able to do that, and as a result, she became more productive. So that gave me a great deal of pleasure and satisfaction, Joe.
So, what's the best advice that you've ever gotten? You have to help all of these small business owners and all of these clients that you have, but on your end, what's the best advice you've ever gotten?
Well, the best advice that I've gotten is that best advice overall or
Probably just yeah, the one that has impacted you the most in your life.
well, what impacted me the most in my life is to be yourself, to be authentic. Don't try to wear and I remember this because in my very first job we had the head of our department. He was he had a very strong hand on the department, so much so that everybody was trying to emulate him. If he wears a leather jacket, next week you're going to see everybody wearing the leather jacket, and so on. And then I just felt somewhat uncomfortable. I mean, going like that. If you wear a nice sweater, V shape, all of a sudden everybody's wearing that. So people will becoming like a clothes. So one will feel if you're not authentic, you'll feel somewhat of discomfort. So I remember I remember one fellow telling me one day, he said, Mosongo, try to be authentic. Just be yourself, and everything will be okay. And that's something I've always done. Just be myself. This is me. I like laughing. I like sometimes telling stories. Sometimes jokes. They're never too corny for people. So just be yourself, and then you'll get the most out of yourself.
So, of everything that you've done and accomplished in your career, what are you the proudest of?
Well, in my career, I am the most proud of I had an assignment years ago as a consultant to go to India, foreign country completely for me, language, culture, and so on, and build one organization from scratch, including the physical infrastructure and hiring people and developing them and so on. And I'm extremely proud of that achievement because that particular group became extremely innovative. In fact, helping the company to take a number one position in that part of the world in terms of innovation. I feel extremely proud for that. And whenever I meet some of those people I developed along the way, they always try to remember that period with fondness, and I'm grateful for that opportunity.
So at the end of the day, everyone out there has a perception of you, your family, your friends, your clients, but you're the one that's running the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Well, the perception of me is that I'm Mosongo is simple, is a humble man, always ready to lend a hand. He gets very much excited when he sees other people improve, achieve something great for themselves.
Excellent. If anyone out there wants to hire you, reach out, learn more about what you're doing, all the good work, where can they go?
Well, I mean, probably for your listener there, I think I'll provide maybe these types of value. They could go to my website, Mosongo Moukwa.coach, and there is a ebook there that is free to download. They can download that. But for the business owners, Joe, what I would like to do is that I'm in the process of writing the second edition of my book. I would like very much to interview them, and then in exchange, I will be giving them free coaching and a free assessment of their business. They could see what are those opportunities are, and they with the roadmap, and they could take it as they wish. If they want my support, fine. If not, they will certainly benefit from that. But they need to go to my website, mosongomukwa.coach, book a time there. They will see Let's Talk. Book a time there. I only have maybe 7 spots there. Otherwise, I'll be busy for the whole month. So first come, first basis. Do mention Joe's show so that I know it came from Joe's show, and then we'll take it from there. So this is what I'll give them.
Wonderful. Mosongo, this has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you, sir, for your story, for your work, and keep spreading the light in the world.
Oh, Joe, it's been a great having a conversation with you. Thank you for the opportunity and a great conversation, Joe.
Thank you, sir. It's been wonderful. Have a great weekend.